1989 general elections. The country had its first hung parliament. As the Bofors gun backfired on Mr. Clean, Rajiv Gandhi's Congress party fell well short of a majority. It won 196 seats. The amorphous National Front won 41 seats. And its uncertain ally, the BJP, mopped up 86 seats. The wily Vishwanath Pratap Singh, Raja of Manda, was finance minister and later the defence minister in Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet. Expelled from the Congress, he went on a moral high and made corruption his target. The slogans were evocative. Raja nahi fakir hai, Bharat ke takdeer hai. They created a halo around VP. But sanctimony did not secure him an outright majority in Parliament, nor did it propel him into the Prime Ministership automatically. For this, he had to play a masterly game of deceit. Chandrasekhar had made it clear he would settle for anyone but VP Singh as Prime Minister. An elaborate game of duplicity followed.
Chandrasekhar said, Vishwanath, if you contest, I will contest. Then Devi Lal took Chandrasekhar away in a room. After that, Chandrasekhar ji left. Then Devi Lal said, look here, आप हमारी इज्जत रख लीजिए. I said, कैसी इज्जत आपकी रख सकते हैं? चौधरी साहब, आपकी इज्जत जिस तरह से होगा हम रखने को तैयार हैं.
Vishwanath Pratap Singh proposed Devi Lal's name for the post of leader of the National Front. Chandrasekhar seconded it.
Devi Lal was elected unanimously. Then the old man got up and he said, this is the first time in world history when the election of a leader of a parliamentary party is held in this matter.
The country watched in dismay as inflated egos collided publicly. Chandrasekhar screamed betrayal.
No, the decision was taken to choose Devi Lal. VP Singh to propose, myself to second. It was altered at the last moment without my knowledge, without consent, without information. I don't know. You ask those persons.
मैं विश्वनाथ प्रताप सिंह.
On the 2nd of December 1989, VP Singh was sworn in as the 7th Prime Minister of India. And Devi Lal, the Deputy Prime Minister. But the seeds of conflict in the ruling coalition had already been planted. In becoming Prime Minister, VP Singh took the support of two parties who were polar opposites and hated each other. The leftist CPI-M and the Hindu nationalist BJP. With his own Janata Dal divided along factional lines and dependent on outside support from two warring forces, governance for the new Prime Minister became the art of managing contradictions.
On my platform, Allahabad campaign, the RSS as well as the Khaksar both would sit, Muslim League, together. So I know such combinations doesn't stay long. There are so many inherent contradictions.
By early 1990, only a few months into his government, VP Singh clashed frontally with the rising ambitions of Tau, as Devi Lal was called. Then came mayhem, the by-election in the Haryana Assembly, which witnessed violence and booth capturing. Cameras recorded a gruesome political killing by supporters of Om Prakash Chautala, Devi Lal's eldest son, who was one of the candidates. The irascible Devilal lashed out against the way VP Singh handled the issue. He threatened to resign his cabinet post but was persuaded to continue. But the rustic Tau was clearly spoiling for a fight. A few months later, encouraged by Chandrasekhar, he hit back. He levelled absurd corruption charges against two of VP's closest allies, Arif Muhammad Khan and Arun Nehru.
The Prime Minister cannot have a cabinet minister making allegations against cabinet ministers. Either you drop those ministers against whom allegations are made, or you have to drop one who's making public allegations all time, otherwise it will be a joke of a government. That time I decided to drop.
Dropped from the cabinet, an angry Devilal called for a grand Kisan rally at Delhi's Boat Club on the 9th of August, the anniversary of the Quit India movement. It was to be the Tau's show of strength, but VP Singh had his response ready. He knew that the divided Janata Dal could not withstand a show of strength by the Tau. Vishwanath Pratap Singh had to steal Devilal's thunder. He found his weapon on page 27 of the 36-page National Front election manifesto. In it was a chapter on social tasks. One of the items in the chapter spoke of the implementation of the recommendations of the Mandal Commission. In 1950, when the Constitution of India was ratified by Parliament, Article 341, 14(4) said that socially and educationally backward classes be identified, the cause of their ills be detected, and efforts be done to remove it. In January 1953, the first Backward Commission was set up, which submitted its report in 1955. But it was on the 1st of January 1979 that the second Backward Commission was set up under a former Chief Minister of Bihar, Bindeshwari Prasad Mandal. Exactly 2 years later, the 5-member Mandal Commission submitted its 2-part, 7-volume, 404-page report, reserving 27% jobs in government service for backward classes. This was to be in addition to the existing 22.5% reservation for scheduled castes and tribes. The Mandal Commission report was submitted to the government on the 31st of December 1980. For the next 10 years, all parties paid lip service to it, but left it well alone. In a display of ruthless political acumen, VP Singh resurrected the decade-old report. On the 7th of August 1990, the Prime Minister of India announced in Parliament his government's decision to implement the Mandal Commission report. The Mandal proposals, VP Singh was certain, would redraw the mosaic of Indian politics. It was a calculated ploy to checkmate Devilal. VP Singh's Mandal announcement sent politics into a tailspin. It set new standards in political correctness. Even those opposed to it could not come out openly.
My reaction, as also the CPM reaction at that time, was that how has he done it without taking any one of us into confidence? He should not do it. Even at that time our Upendra, I do not know he was in which party, he was in TDP, NTR's party. He was Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. All of us reacted in the same way. How is he? But he had decided. He said, all right, they'll have to follow the line. They can't do anything.
And they're saying it was all of a sudden. Then why would I set up a committee for implementation as soon as I assumed power? It was far away from break. There was no question, not even a dream of a break from Devilal when I set up that committee.
Everyone needed the votes of the backward classes, who made up a sizable percentage of the electorate. The only exception were the students. They had no political baggage to carry, and they hit out at the politicians. 14th of August 1990, 3,000 students gathered at Morris Nagar on the main campus of Delhi University. They held a candlelight procession as a protest against the implementation of the Mandal Commission recommendations.
जब ये अनाउंसमेंट हुआ तो हम सभी स्टूडेंट्स में ये अचानक से रिएक्शन हुआ कि ये बहुत गलत हो रहा है। यही था कि वीपी सिंह ने गलत काम किया और वीपी सिंह के अगेंस्ट ही उस वक्त के सरकार के अगेंस्ट लोगों का आक्रोश था और लोग बहुत ही गुस्से में थे कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए और कैंडल लाइट प्रोसेशन एक शुरुआत थी।
On the 15th of August 1990, from the ramparts of the Red Fort, Prime Minister VP Singh in his Independence Day address reiterated his government's commitment to the implementation of the Mandal Commission recommendations.
डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर किस न्याय वर्ष में एक फैसला हाल में सरकार ने लिया कि पिछड़े वर्ग को हम सरकारी नौकरियों में और पब्लिक सेक्टर में स्थान दें। सत्ता के इस ढांचे में देश की चलाने और संवारने में, उसके फैसला करने में हम हिस्सेदारी देने चाहते हैं और मजबूती से देना चाहते हैं।
With political parties completely disoriented, the anti-Mandal agitation passed on to the hands of middle-class students. The students were outraged by the sheer cynicism governing the decision. The irrelevance of caste had been drilled into their minds. They felt their future was threatened by more caste-based quotas.
ये हमारे दिमाग में कभी नहीं था कि बीपी सिंह जी जो स्वयं मान लेते हैं कि एक राजा परिवार से आए हैं, अपर कास्ट के हैं और वो मंडल कमीशन को लागू करवाएंगे तो उस पर इतना बड़ा रिएक्शंस होगा, ये दिमाग में नहीं था।
The students of Delhi formed an anti-Mandal Commission forum. It was akin to a youth rebellion. The power of the state was represented by heavy police deployment and there were frequent skirmishes.
हम पीसफुल डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन करते हैं तो पुलिस हम पर लाठी डंडे बरसाती है, जबकि प्रो रिजर्वेशनिस्ट रैली को पुलिस एस्कॉर्ट करके ले आती है। ना ही सरकार हमारे साथ है, ना ही एमपीज हमारे साथ है, ना ही एमएलएज हमारे साथ है। तो हमारे पास मात्र महात्मा गांधी का एक चीज़ बचा है, सत्याग्रह और नॉन वायलेंस।
करेंगे हम लोग, जलाएंगे, बस जलाएंगे। अब क्या करेंगे, हमारे पास और कोई और चारा नहीं है तो और क्या करेंगे। जीविका के लिए तो कुछ करना ही होगा, आखिर नहीं तो रहेंगे। हम लोग जो है साथी एकदम ठीक कहा है कि कलम चलाना छोड़ दिया है, बंदूक चलाना सीखेंगे। और हमारी प्रशासन जो है यही अब चाह रही है और यही करेंगे, यही हाथ से लिखेंगे भी और यही हाथ से खून भी बहाएंगे। जो होगा सो देखेंगे। हम लोग मरने के लिए तैयार हैं, अपनी सर को फाड़ दिए हैं एकदम, चाहे जो होगा सो करेंगे हम लोग।
VP Singh supporters came out in a show of solidarity with their leader. Sharad Yadav and Ram Vilas Paswan took to the streets. They called for the anti-reservationists to be given a fitting reply.
यदि माहौल है, उस माहौल में यदि आग लगा हुआ है, थोड़ा सा भी उसमें घी या तेल पड़ता है तो उसमें और है। और फिर न्यूज़ तो न्यूज़ होता है, न्यूज़ में तो आप जानते हैं कि कुत्ता आदमी को काटे तब तो न्यूज़ नहीं बनता है, आदमी जब कुत्ता को काटता है तभी न्यूज़ बनता है।
Singh and his supporters believed that the anti-reservation agitation would be sporadic. They felt it would die down quickly. The combination of backward castes and minorities would redefine the political mosaic and make the government's position invincible.
It was a part of the election strategy when we fought the 89 election. But even the die-hard Mandal supporters like Mulayam Singh or Sharad, nobody had asked for it to be implemented. But everyone realized what the implications would be.
of August 1990. Almost 10,000 students gathered at the Boat Club grounds close to Parliament. They planned a human chain around the Parliament House. The police were also present. Their aim was to stop and disperse the students. As the students turned belligerent, the police fired tear gas shells. 50 shells were fired and a lathi charge followed. Official count put the number of injured at 300. Protests became the norm. Each morning, the country woke up to details of student protests from across the nation. Their anger was fueled by a supportive media.
Today in Indian Express, we did not turn against as much as against the decision. And all the work that we did, I remember writing myself, was based on an analysis of the law, of the constitution, of successive judgments on this matter, of the evolution of judgments on this matter. So it was based, as such things should be, it was based on analysis and facts.
Article after article and headline reports attacked the government for reviving casteism. And for the first time, the electronic media was also recording every incident. Television cameras and correspondents of a free media were documenting events as and where they occurred. Their imagination inspired by the recent protests in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. The Indian youth found a cause. The situation across India was tense, as if an explosion was waiting to happen. It happened on the 19th of September 1990. Rajiv Goswami, a third-year student in Delhi University, son of a clerk in the postal service, he had no concrete plans for the future, but his father wanted him to take up a government job. The Mandal recommendations diminished his chances. He decided to protest. The 20-year-old Rajiv set himself on fire. The cameras captured the moment, and Rajiv Goswami became an icon for the movement.
इस प्रोग्राम से मुझे समझ करना है तो दिल्ली में आंदोलन दब चुका है इसमें तेजी लाना चाहते हैं आंदोलन में दिल्ली में फिर से शुरू हो चुका है
The attempted self-immolation of Rajiv Goswami was a turning point. A stunned nation reacted with horror, and the simmering student agitation spread across the country. There were self-immolation attempts after another, and each act brought out the desperation of the youth.
I ask you, the youth of India, not to entertain these fears. Your interest is uppermost in my mind. I ask you for trust and patience. I ask you to join me in building a better future.
159 people attempted suicide. 63 died. The government cried conspiracy, but middle-class opinion firmly raged against the Prime Minister. From being the hero of the anti-corruption crusade, he was transformed into a villain.
I'm not a villain in the Muslims, I'm not a villain in the backward class, I'm not a villain in the scheduled caste. They have very good feelings for me. Where am I a villain for? Majority I'm not. And because upper caste thinks their world is the nation and their world is all. And therefore anybody who's good or bad, that's the end of the world.
It was time for the political parties to rethink. The Mandal controversy had reshaped the agenda. A worried Bharatiya Janata Party now debated the wisdom of persisting with VP Singh's government. Its vision of Hindu unity was getting unstuck by the inherent divisiveness of Mandal. It had to redefine the agenda on its own terms. For the past 5 years, the energies of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, a body linked to the BJP via the RSS, had been agitating for the construction of a Ram temple on the site of a 16th century mosque, the Mandal Masjid, in Ayodhya. This shrine, they claimed, had been built on the site of Bhagwan Ram's birthplace after demolishing a Hindu temple. The agitation had been put on hold after the 1989 election campaign. Now the party felt it was time to resurrect it. The BJP president, L.K. Advani, threatened the greatest mass movement in history. On the 25th of September 1990, L.K. Advani played his political gambit. He mounted what he called his Rath at Somnath in Gujarat and instructed Salim, his Muslim driver, to head for Ayodhya. The hopes of the BJP centered around this gamble that would take the party president on a journey of 10,000 kilometers. Mandal would be countered by Mandir.
My approach used to be purely political. In fact, I remember when I used to say कि लोग कहते हैं कि ये तो राम का रथ है, राम का रथ नहीं है, ये तो टोयोटा के एक वो है. तो मुझे आकर के लोग कहते क्यों कहते हो, ऐसा क्यों कहते हो? Why are you saying it? Why are you trying to undermine the impact of it which is being felt?
While the Mandal agitation raged on, the BJP Rath rumbled across India. It was a desperate gamble. The resources of the entire Sangh Parivar was mobilized. Advani's Rath was greeted by ecstatic crowds.
Few journalists who were accompanying me right from there, in the very first day, Advani ji, does it seem to you that you are making history of some kind? I said, I am perplexed, I am baffled, I am not able to understand this. It will take time. Pramod Mahajan, who was with me, he was also somewhat wonderstruck. And he said, ये गुजरात है, गुजरात में कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है, Maharashtra may not be like this. But when it went on, I could see that it was everywhere like that.
District after district, the crowds poured out to hail him. Advani's gamble, it seemed, was paying off.
I used to read about Vivekananda saying that religion is the soul of India. And nothing else moves the country as religion does. I did not really understand the import of it as I did during the Rath Yatra. And I remember that if the Rath passed away, the tribals, women, children, old men, rushing to it and just trying to touch it. And if they are not able to touch it, then touching the road through which it passed, as if something sacred is there. They would throw coins, and we would keep on appealing from the loudspeaker, from the radio, that not a single coin is to be thrown. But that would not deter them.
In Delhi, political parties started demanding an immediate halt to the Yatra. They called on the government to stop the Rath. They argued the Rath Yatra was fomenting communal hatred, pitting Hindu against Muslim.
Initially, he started in a very mild fashion in Gujarat. He didn't make any provocative statements. So it was not known at that time what is the nature, because earlier also programs of carrying bricks and all were there, and even the left governments allowed it. Its real nature came later on, unfolded when he came to his own governments.
I have always said, मेरे भाषण में से एक कोई वाक्य निकाल दो जिसको कोई एंटी मुस्लिम कह सके, कोई दूसरे के खिलाफ कह सके, तो I would plead guilty.
Advani's Rath reached Delhi and he traversed Uttar Pradesh by train. On the 20th of October 1990, the Rath resumed its journey from Dhanbad and into Bihar. Ayodhya was within striking distance, a few hundred kilometers ahead. As tension mounted, the Janata Dal Chief Minister of Bihar, Lalu Prasad Yadav, repeatedly warned Advani. He threatened that the Rath would not be allowed to leave Bihar and enter Uttar Pradesh. BJP countered by promising to withdraw support to the National Front government if the Rath was stopped. India was in turmoil. Mandal and now Mandir had come to dominate the political, social and religious conscience of the country.